Ready?
All right. Welcome back to episode 11 of the Unkaged Podcast.
New and improved setup.
Yes. Thank you to my guy over there in the corner. He has headphones on, Chris, for setting us up in the Cage Gym office, looking like a studio. Good lighting and all that good stuff. So 4K quality. We'll see if this takes like 3 days to upload on YouTube, but
Hopefully not. But yeah. So you guys should be able to see it hopefully today. So today we're gonna be going over some Q&A, and then we'll also be touching upon a couple of subjects as well. The first subject, body positivity movement. I think we should definitely cover that because I think there's a lot of clips right now going viral about, I think, what was it? It was a segment on Jubilee, I think, where they interview a bunch of body positivity women that are kind of just going over what their stance is on what it's like, kind of helping them. And then I think they're actually the main person that they're debating is Jillian Michaels, which she's actually like an OG like fitness. She's probably one of the OG fitness influencers. Like she legit used to sell like her DVDs and like products like way back in the day, like on infomercials and stuff. But now she's kind of just more or less like an OG in the fitness space. But I think let's start with like what body positivity is. So
cool. Yeah.
What is body positivity?
Well, I mean, like, what does it to you? What is body positive? Like, to me, body positivity sort of like encompasses like, yeah, you want to have a positive body image, right? I think everybody should love themselves regardless of the state, the size that they are or the position that they're in. Because we all get to certain points in life where maybe we're heavier, maybe we're lighter. Some of us obviously more than others. But at the end of the day, like, I think the real body positivity should come is like, regardless of the body that you're in, knowing that you can make a difference in your body, but also just like accepting yourself for who you are in that moment and just being like okay with it, you know?
Yeah.
I think like we are currently in a culture where we have like levels of extremes where body positivity is now skewed to portray sort of this like I'll just like flat out say like I'm 400 pounds and I'm happy. You are not 400 pounds and you're happy. Like there's no way. There's
like
no way.
It almost becomes like avoidance, right? Like you're literally avoiding the issue. And I think that, and I can relate to this because I was at a point in my life too where I was obese, where I was considered very unhealthy. My blood markers were shot. I did not really feel good, and I had very bad habits with food. But the body positivity movement, I think this started becoming a thing probably like, I don't even know, like I'd have to say probably 7, 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Like it's been around for a while now, but I think it's still a thing, right? Like where more bigger people are being accepted, right? I think you started seeing models like kind of like doing photo shoots that were like plus sized. And I think that was kind of like normal now, right? So I think during that time frame, I also too found comfort in like knowing that like, okay, I'm chilling even if I am like a higher body weight, like it is what it is. Like I'm gonna feel fine, but to a degree, like you're not fine. Like I also feel like it's avoiding the real issue, which is food addiction. And I think a lot of these people are food addicted and they're just not truly almost working with that, right?
I feel like there's also usually always a secondary component to that. Like there's a deeper psychological component to that.
Yeah.
Other than just like simply food addiction, because food addiction is a coping mechanism for something else, right? So whether that's like a traumatic life experience or you're depressed or whatever it might be, there's a deeper issue there that needs to be addressed. That is just like we're for whatever reason glorifying the poor mental health aspect of body positivity, where it's like no, like that's messed up. It is unhealthy to be severely obese or overweight, and you shouldn't hate yourself because you're severely overweight or obese, but you should recognize that it is a problem. It's an issue. Yeah. It's a problem for your long-term health. It is and not only for you, but the people around you that care about you, right? Your family members, your kids, your wife, your girlfriend, whatever. Like the people around you, that also directly affects them because your longevity gets a hit because of that, right? You're not going to live as long. You're not going to have as high quality of a life. And just understanding that it is an issue and being able to slowly start to dissect that and understand that, like, exercise can help you, eating better can help you, will improve your quality of life, make you happier, rather than just, you know, essentially accepting defeat to
Yeah.
your mental health problem or your food addiction, right? Because that's essentially what you're saying is like, I am a, for lack of better terms, I am a slave to my addiction. I am a slave to my poor mental health. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
I mean, no, I agree. I think that in general, I think nowadays it's just become too much of a coping mechanism. And I made a video about this a couple days ago about a clip that I saw off body positivity. I feel like a lot of these people that are within this movement, they almost cope together, thinking that, oh, just because we're plus size women or plus size men or whatever, like we can all form
You find
together.
comfort in community.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a comfort in community, right? So understanding that just because we're all plus size people, like it's okay. We can kind of like move the food addiction and everything and just make it appear like it's not an issue, but in reality it is. And it's a bigger topic that I feel like a lot of people just aren't willing to accept. And that's why they don't take that foot forward to actually change their their fitness, their health in general. But also, I threw out this analogy, and it might not be. I I truly think it is the same. I think it's like almost as if like alcoholics to a degree started like a positivity, like an alcoholic positive group or something, or movement, right?
Yeah.
And in reality, all of them are just coping to just push that away, right? To actually think that like, okay, alcohol is not the problem. It's actually like, we're all fine, but in reality, it's not fine, right? And to a degree, it's almost like what body positivity does, but with food. We just try to think that like, oh, it's not a big deal, right? We can all just overconsume and be fine.
I guess to play devil's advocate here, couldn't you also say the same thing about like bodybuilding and like the use of steroids and gear? Like on that other hand, right, on the flip side, people that are like in bodybuilding and community use sports enhancement drugs, right? Things
Mhm.
like testosterone and just other drugs, other compounds, other androgens. Peptides now are super big, right? Like, what differentiates a food addiction to, let's say, like a steroid or gear addiction? Because like, yeah, they could point
PED positivity.
they could point, yeah, exactly, they could point the finger back, right, and be like,
Yeah.
well, you use PEDs and you're addicted to that, and you're like, and that's also not healthy for you. That also shortens your longevity. That also makes you not healthy. Sure, you look good, but like, that's it, right? So
Yeah, one thing to say. Look at the obesity statistics in America. Mic drop. I think that alone just kind of like should tell you what the big issue is compared to like thinking about the small percentage of people that are actually using PEDs, which is not that not many at all whatsoever. So that's what I would focus on more. I mean, yeah, we can always point fingers at any other movement or any other group of people doing some kind of vice.
Like, essentially, there's a greater amount of, like, obesity problem is a bigger problem.
Yes,
like
100%.
there are more people that are obese and overweight and deal with the health effects
Yeah.
from being obese or overweight.
I think that would probably be like the biggest thing is that a lot of them kind of just hide behind the fact that like since everyone nowadays is like a bigger size, it's okay to be this way, but in reality it's not. And if it keeps going like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, let's say that obesity rate ends up becoming like 75%, 80%, 90%, like it's almost going to become like that dystopian future where like in like
WALL-E.
Yeah, in WALL-E, where we're all like in like these like just chairs and we
Massive,
can't even move our freaking legs because we're so big. Like if that's the future that we're almost predicting, like that's horrible.
AI runs the ship, guys.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to a degree, but I don't know. I just don't think that's a future most of us want to be part of.
It's kind of, I actually had this conversation yesterday with another coach, was that, like, I think another angle, and I mean, we already talked about it a little bit, but I think it's really more sad to see than infuriating. I think a lot of people nail on the fact, like a lot of fitness influencers, you'll see it all over Instagram, like nail on these bigger people in the sense that, like, okay, like, no, being fat is not unhealthy. Being big is not unhealthy. Army is not healthy. And you just see that time and time again, and it's just like you're beating the same horse over and over again. And I think rather than looking at it from that perspective, like if you're actually trying to be useful, actually provide value to these people, and especially if you're a coach, if you're somebody that like genuinely wants to help people in that position, I think it's more important to look at the psychological aspect of things and understand that these people are food addicted and they have deeper psychological like problems, right? Like they have something going on up there that is not allowing them to really see or accept the fact that it is an issue, that it is a problem. And I think like there's not a lot of people that are very vocal about that. Like I don't see it really on social media. Like a lot of people sort of take it from that angle. Like, hey, yeah, it's unhealthy, but you have a mental problem.
No.
Like let's address that because that's what's going to ultimately help you get better.
I think sometimes, like I do see the mental side of how some people, especially the people that are like, morbidly obese, like 400 pounds, 500 pounds, like people that are like just gorging themselves with
Mm,
food. Okay, that is a bigger psychological issue at
for
play
sure.
there, or the people that are on GLPs right now that are still overeating
Yeah.
on GLPs. Okay, I think that's a separate issue. However, I just also think that the average person just has really bad habits with food.
Poor food education is
Poor
a big one.
food
Yeah, that's a
education
big one.
and just the mindless eating that has just become a habit now for a lot of people. And unfortunately nowadays, guys, like
So
any
easy.
kind of snack, anything that you eat out, like it has a ton of calories anywhere. And if you're not understanding like what a portion of food looks like for you and you have no idea what that looks like in terms of like what a good calorie balance is for you,
Yeah.
you're overeating most of the time. Everyone is overeating.
Yeah, you're right. I
So
think that's huge too. Like that's one whole pocket of people. That's one whole
yeah.
side of people, right? The people that can't even lose weight on GLP ones,
Yeah.
right? Like are actually truly have a psychological issue. And then there's a side of there's another sort of group that I think is you're absolutely right. Like just lack food education, and I think
Yeah.
that's so huge.
Yeah.
Something that like we try to teach the clients almost right away is like proper yeah, like what does a proper portion of protein look like? Like what does
What does a good plate look like?
yeah,
Like what
exactly.
is like too
How
much?
do you
Dude,
put together a meal, right? How
yeah.
do you put together a meal that's going to actually help you lose weight or help you with whatever your goal is? And most people don't know that. Like
Yeah.
people have this. A lot of like general population people sort of have this mentality of like good and bad food, and there's no good and bad food. There is just food, and like I think a better way to sort of approach it is a better way to look at it is like you can have a cupcake or you can have three apples, right? No, it's both food. They're both food, and you can have either one of them.
Yeah.
But the three apples is going to fill you more than
Cupcake.
the cupcake,
And
right?
you're probably gonna
So
want a
it's
second
so
cupcake.
it's like which one should you have if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to keep yourself full and you're trying to stay satiated, you're trying to make better decisions. Probably the apples because you're just going to be able to have more.
Yeah.
You feel more satisfied. You probably feel better about yourself. You're not going to have a crash after having them, right? So it's like that cupcake. If you're at a party, if you're hanging out with friends and you want to have it, absolutely have it, right? But just understand that like it that's not something that you're gonna be able to do all the time or every single day and then be able to effectively lose weight, right? Or like it's gonna be harder to do that if you're having that cupcake every single day. Because yeah, all the food now, I mean, all the food that we have here, and especially like here in the States, in the West, I feel like our food is just so overly processed. I mean, it's all just refined carbohydrates.
And it's just easy to overeat.
Yeah,
It's easy to
it's
overeat.
super easy, highly palatable foods. The food is designed that way. It's designed that way so that you buy more, so that you keep eating more and more of it. Like that's what food manufacturers want. They want you to rip this shit off the shelves and keep buying their products.
Yeah.
So you know, I guess for that group of people, I think the best piece of advice that I think I can give is like when you go into a grocery store, start on the outside aisles, go get your proteins and your produce first. And like, that honestly, if you can stop there, great, amazing, good job for you. But yeah, try to shy away from anything that's in a box, bag, or can. Generally speaking, anything that's in a box, bag, or can is going to be refined, highly processed, usually highly palatable. And it's just going to be mostly refined carbs and high fats, high sodium, easy to eat. It's not going to help you lose weight. So
I think majority of people are good with just kind of doing it. I've heard of this said before. It's like most humans in general will do very well with just getting leaner, losing some body fat by just getting some kind of like, I think it's called pick it and grow it. So like pick it and grow it kind of diet. So if you can pick it, if you can grow it, you can eat it, right? Or you can or, yeah, basically. So like
tender, anything that you would find on a farm.
yeah, like vegetables, like potatoes, like rice, grains, like proteins, things like that, right? Like animal meats. Things. I think majority of that palette, most of you will probably do very well, and it's very hard to overeat those kinds of foods.
Whole
right?
foods.
Yeah, whole foods. I'd say majority of the stuff that's actually going to just lead to more just metabolic dysfunction, make you gain more body fat is going to be just things that are easy to overeat, which is going to be like snacks, right? Like very overly processed things that are very easy to consume. That's a lot of your sweets, a lot of your savory stuff, savory snacks,
super salty
stuff, cheesy stuff too as well, and or fried stuff, right? So I would say majority of that is what encapsulates like most fast foods, restaurant foods, things like that, right? So if you're able to just do most of your groceries and you're able to just buy foods that like you could literally just grow and or get on a farm, bam, like you're gonna be pretty good. I would say everything else from there is just gonna be portions, right? Like understanding what portions look like for you. I mean, a very good example of this I could give is so my dad, we grew up in South America. For us, it's very easy to overeat rice. Like we eat rice with every single freaking meal. And his portions of food, he's always grown up to have like just giant plates of food with a ton of freaking rice, right?
Rice is the base. It covers the whole plate, and then you cover more on top.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's not only that, but sometimes we have potatoes with things. We do have meat with certain foods, but that's a very big thing that like you can kind of teach yourself. Now that I've had to teach him is like, listen, like, yeah, you may be eating decent foods that, like you can make at home, but if you're not understanding how big these portions are, like it's very easy to overconsume this amount of rice, right? And then now you're never losing weight because you're just basically eating everything back, right? So a lot of that is just understanding that, right? And sometimes like, to the average person, somebody that has no idea what calories look like, what a plate looks like a lot of them just think it's just a regular amount of rice or food, right? But in reality, it might be a lot more. So
I think, there is a big cultural component, and even like just like how you were raised, right? How you were brought up. Like I also grew up in a Hispanic household. I was taught to eat everything that's on my plate. Like I couldn't get up off the table unless I ate everything that was on my plate. So that's just the way I was raised. That's the way that I was taught. So that was ingrained to me from a very early age. And it took me, getting into this industry, getting into fitness, to understand that like, hold on a second, that's not what I need to do. If I want to get ripped, if I want to get shredded, if I want to get huge, if I want to be a competitor, that's not what I need to do. What I need to do is have proper portion control. Exactly. And it's also just like breaking that mindset of, whatever you were brought up in isn't necessarily always the healthiest. Does it mean that it was wrong, right? Our parents grew up in impoverished countries, in areas where, eat all the food that's on your plate. You don't know when the next meal is going to be, type of deal, So like it makes sense as to why they teach that onto their kids, as to why they teach that to us. But we now, thankfully, thank God, we live in America where food is super accessible, right? For most people, it's super accessible. And so like we don't have to worry about that for the most part, Like,
but also, is this also a very big thing? In South America, even Mexico, like obesity rates are still rising too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily like it's only impacting the US. Yeah. I think a lot of countries in general, just with the overproduction of food, with a lot more accessible food anywhere, honestly, I think it's just becoming more of a thing, especially in like big major cities, right? Because you can have a restaurant on every single freaking corner, And,
also, there's grocery stores on every corner, and like they're selling those chip bags and all that really highly palatable food. It's easy calories for very cheap. That's another thing, right? Like that food generally tends to be the most accessible and the most cheap. So like, a big ass bag of chips is going to be a couple thousand calories, and it's only a couple bucks, right? Yeah. So like if you're trying to feed a big family, like calorie per dollar wise, like most of that food, it makes sense. Like it makes sense as to why. And so that's why I'm saying, like, when you grow up in those sort of like poor conditions, it's like,
it's kind of hard, right?
It's hard. It's hard to shy away from it. It's like, well, this is like the best bang for your buck. And if you're trying to feed a family of 5 kids.
Yeah.
So I think there's that regard, but Yeah, I mean,
I think there's always something you can do with just understanding just even a little bit about the
yeah,
things that you could switch out. Even if you have a freaking like a link card and you have a certain budget that you have to get like every single month, there are still things that you can get at these places that take your link card that could be a healthier choice, right?
no,
Doesn't necessarily have to just be a bunch of like processed things that you have to eat.
yeah,
And I mean, I just think that, at that point, that just falls under your education and
yeah,
understanding that all the yummy, yummy things that you're getting aren't necessarily the best things for you. You know,
yeah.
like you might just have to maybe just hunker down on like just regular protein sources, maybe some veggie sources, maybe rice. A bag of freaking rice that's like 25 pounds, you can get that at Sam's Club for like 10, 15 bucks, right? Like I think in general, something like that, that's like a hack, you know, and you have like
That's a
a
ton
good
of
amount of
calories.
carb
Yeah,
source. Yeah. And it's a clean carb source, right? It's not something that's going to inflammate you really that well or that much. And then I think in general, for most people, it digests pretty well. So
I think the body
yeah,
positivity movement has kind of just lost its way. It has become less of a like, yeah, accept yourself for who you are, and more of like, it's okay to be um unhealthy and
yeah,
be open, like just and lie to yourself about being unhealthy. Because yeah, I think everybody, like, again, regardless of what size you are, you should love yourself. You should accept yourself. Doesn't mean that you shouldn't push yourself to be a better version of that person on a day-to-day basis. I think that is part of what growing up is. I think that's part of what I know being a productive member of society is. I think that's like, I think just generally you're doing better for yourself and those around you if you are just trying to improve on a day-to-day basis, get like be a better person. And that does boil down to like, are you taking care of yourself?
yeah.
Like just your self-care, right?
Mhm.
Um so I just think it's no longer what it initially was, and it's kind of like lost its way.
Yeah. I,
Almost like SBL.
yeah. No, for sure. Great science-based lifting. Yeah. No, I think in general, yeah, like body positivity in general, I think that if you are part of this movement, like for sure, like you should 100% love the way that you feel, that you look, like all these things. I personally though, okay, so I was fat. I did not like the way I looked when I was fat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I just didn't. And I
Yeah.
look back at pictures and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like I cringe. And like I just think that majority of people that are doing that, I just don't think they're really being honest with themselves at that time. Because I'll tell you right now, like I had moments like where I was that size and I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. Like I just felt uncomfortable in my own skin. And you could have told me anything under the
Yeah.
sun during that time of like, oh, Gons, you're amazing, like you're beautiful, blah blah blah, whatever. But like, I know I didn't, I wasn't, I
Yeah.
didn't feel like it, and I felt like crap too. You know, it's not like that I just looked like crap. I also felt like crap. So a lot of the times, like it's almost like you're trying to cope with this, but I think the biggest thing you have to realize is like, look, nothing's gonna change unless I change,
Yeah.
unless I start making the effort to actually understand how nutrition works for me,
Yeah.
how to stop these habits, right? Of like the ones that are taking over my life right now that are causing me to be this weight. And ultimately, I mean, anybody could have looked back at my pictures, and I'm telling you, anybody could have probably been like, yeah, dude, at this point in your life, you are not the healthiest person. I think the claim that like you can't look at someone's physique or just overall just visual
And
and
be the
understand that like they're in a healthy position or if they are in a healthy position, like I think it's pretty valid. I think you can look at somebody from the outside and see, okay, yeah, this person takes care of themselves. This person doesn't.
Yeah, there's an objective truth to that for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Like,
absolutely. You know that somebody is more predispositioned to having fucking like heart conditions
yeah.
or whatnot based on literally how they look. If
The
they're a bigger
size of their
individual,
waist,
yeah, the
the size
size,
of their gut, like
literally,
all
yeah,
this area here, if you have a giant beer belly, you know,
yeah,
even if you have skinnier limbs, there's a lot of visceral fat going on here. That's not good. That is like that's fat that's actually not helping your intestines, your all your major organs. So that's horrible. Like later on, that could actually prove to just like horrible blood markers, right? Which will kind of affect your longevity over time. So
yeah,
I think those are things that we just don't notice sometimes. But I mean, it plays a part. It plays
yeah,
a role. Like way before we had doctors or anything like that, I'm sure visual was a huge thing that a lot of people just went
yeah,
off of
yeah.
to see how somebody felt or looked like, right? Like I
Being
think,
being big used to be a sign of wealth, you know?
yeah,
Like
oh yeah,
here in this country, yeah, like if you were a bigger individual, you had money because you could afford more food.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a sign of wealth. You know, the ladies wanted to go with the big dude. You know, that's how it was. That's how you pulled. Um, no,
Now
but
food is everywhere.
but if
Yeah.
you are a individual that is bigger and you disagree with us, I would love to have you on the pod and love to interview you, love to talk about it, see what your perspective is, because yeah, I mean, it'd be a good conversation to have. So
Yeah,
but
for sure. 100%. All right, let's get into some questions. We'll go
cool.
up to, we got a couple questions from you guys on the Instagram. By the way, we always put up a post on our Instagram. Follow us at the Cage Gym. And on there, you guys will be able to ask us questions, and then we'll answer them here on the podcast every Friday. So let's go on here real quick. All right. All right, so we got a couple questions here. We'll start with the first one with Coach Gert. So he has a couple actually on here, but he has some pretty freaking good questions. How do you know if you're in a good place to start a prep?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'd say in general, there's subcategories to this.
Yes.
I'm gonna start with one that I feel like is really important and highlights a good majority of people, especially if they're already been dieting, or if you're starting from like a heavier place, is your mental health. Okay, mental health. Are you in a position right now where you feel like you have a decent circle around you, whether that's your coach, whether that's your family, friends, whatever? Are you in a circle right now where you feel like you can prioritize going into this deficit, going into this journey, and having people there to support you? I have seen it many times again that the best athletes that have the best support group during this time always do the best.
Yeah.
If you do not have that, you're most likely going to burn yourself out very fast. You're going to suffer a lot more, and you're probably just not going to look the best because you're going to feel, and you're not going to have support there, right? So you're going to feel like more like shit, honestly.
A bodybuilding prep, especially if it's your first time, is extremely demanding, and it's just demanding on your mental health and your physical health. You're going to be in the gym for more time than you've ever been before. You're going to be spending time posing, you know, having conversations with your coach. You're going to have limited energy by a certain amount of time. And especially if this is your first prep, you don't know how to anticipate that. So I think that's a great starting point, is like making sure that you're good mentally, like with yourself too, but also you have a good circle. Yeah. I mean, you have a good coach, you have a good, you know, if you have a girlfriend, you guys are on good terms. You know, your friends, your family, they have to like putting it out
financial wise.
Big too. Yeah.
So like making sure that you're in a position to like where you're not struggling for okay. I'm not saying you have to be like freaking a millionaire, right? And like everything has to be perfect, right?
But it's an expense.
Yeah, but it is an expense. But the less things you have that are causing an insane amount of stress to you, if they're like very low stress at the beginning of prep, I think that's
otherwise you're gonna be cortisol maxing, bro. We want to like we don't want to do that. We don't want to cortisol max right now. We're trying to like keep that shit low as possible. It's gonna affect your look. It's gonna affect your progress.
I'd say majority of guys that are starting to go into a prep, most of the time, most of you guys are gonna have to get in shape, right? I would assume most of you guys are not super lean, so you're probably gonna have to be in a position where you have to lose body fat.
Yeah.
Before you start a prep, assess at least like
a rough body fat
guesstimate. Yeah. And if you've already been dieting way before your prep even starts, like you've already been dieting for like 6 months, maybe 8 months, 9 months, really assess if it's a good time to even head into a prep, right? And maybe you need a break, because if you've already been dieting for like, let's say like 8 months, 9 months, maybe even a year, and now you're like, all right, I'm ready to prep.
Yeah.
Are you really though?
Yeah.
Like, have you really given yourself like a break? Because it's just gonna get harder from here.
We call this the pre-prep phase, and it kind of just depends on like where you're starting. If you're a heavier individual, this is going to be a longer period of time. If you're a leaner individual, if you're starting leaner, it's going to be a shorter period of time. But essentially, it's building up into the habitual aspects and lifestyle aspects of actually doing a prep, being in the nitty-gritty of it, because you need to make sure that you're logging and tracking food and being very religious about it. You got to make sure that you're doing some form of cardio, and again, being very religious about it. And your training is on point. Your recovery is on point. Food is on point. All that stuff heading into a prep is already set, right? Like you already want that stuff pretty habitually like
Nailed.
set in
Yeah.
place, like set in stone. Otherwise, like if you head into a prep sort of blindsided, you're in for a rough time. And the likelihood of, again, you actually presenting a good package on stage, you being successful at your show, is going to be much less. Now, it also boils down to like what your goal is in doing a show. Is this like, are you not super serious about it and you just want to step on stage and present? Now, I don't think that's the right approach. I always like to make sure that my athletes are conditioned. Like I wouldn't want to put anybody on stage if they're not ready to be on stage. But I mean, you also have to assess that. Like, what is your goal? Do you just want to do it for the experience? Okay, maybe you don't need to be as dialed in, right? But if you are trying to bring in the best package possible, yeah, like you should have some sort of pre-prep phase where you are nailing down all the habituals, nailing down all the lifestyle, and understanding like what your actual prep is going to be like, because your prep is just like your pre-prep, but fucking double down, triple down. Like
Yeah.
you're just going to be doing more of what you were already doing.
Yeah. I think majority of first time preppers too, like a good indicator that you are ready to prep is obviously a low stress environment, right? Like you're in a position where it's like, okay, I can shave away these next 16 weeks and just focus on me. But also, in terms of like your habits and like your relationship with food, how good are those habits and how is that set in place with you right now, right? Because you also don't want to come out of this with like a freaking eating disorder.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh yeah.
I think that's also
Oh
huge
man.
and something a lot of the times you just don't really
Yeah.
think of when you head into a prep, right? Like you don't think that you're looking at this stuff differently. You just think it's food. But then
I
you come out of a prep, or maybe, you have a moment of weakness, right? And you're like, you just freaking binge or whatever,
Yeah, I
right?
can speak on that anecdotally. I actually, like, out of my first prep, I struggled with that heavily. I was, because on the very first prep that I did, I already had a problem going into that prep with food. If you remember, Gonz actually coached me through my first prep, and even through like some of my lowest calories, I think the lowest calories that we got to on prep, was like, I don't even think we hit 18. I think we were like 2,100 calories.
We did keto on
We did
like the
keto.
last, I think it was like the last
I went
week.
hypoglycemic
Yeah.
on 2,100 calories. And at the beginning of my prep, I was losing body fat, eating like 2,800 calories. And this was because I was obsessed with doing a ridiculous amount of cardio so that I could eat more food. So I already had a problem with food heading into the prep. Like I already just was like, I'm working out, I'm doing cardio so that I can eat. There was no other sort of purpose in my head to doing that other than I just want to continue eating and eating and eating. And so when I obviously did the prep, I went through the show, did it afterwards, like trying to come under, like trying to come back from it. I just ate. I was like I was a dude, garbage disposal. I swear.
Yeah.
There was nights, and I had this really unhealthy relationship with food where there were days where I would eat, 5, 6, 7,000 calories. Like, I would track it. So I was eating all this food. And then, for the next day, I felt super bad about myself. I felt horrible.
Yeah.
And then I was eating like, 1,000, or I would sometimes I would fast. I would fast most of the day or all day and only have like half a meal. And then the following day, I was just woke up so fucking hungry and I'm like, well, I'm still lean. Let me just shove down a whole bunch of more food. And that is super unhealthy. Not only from a, like mental perspective, because it's very like horrible. It's a terrible way to think.
Yeah.
But it's also so bad for like just your internal organs, for your kidneys, for
Everything.
your gut, for everything. Yeah, for your heart. You're putting a lot of stress on your system, and thankfully I was able to recognize that was a problem. And like this last prep that I just did, I did much better on it. I didn't rebound that way. I was able to control the food. I was able to have a different mindset going into it. Like I wouldn't want that for any first time prepper. Like that was horrible. That was a terrible experience coming off of that show, and just like, stuffing my face with food. And so it's so important. Like you're absolutely right. It's so important going into a prep in a really good headspace.
So
And
your nutrition,
yeah.
nutrition, good headspace, no eating disorders, preferably.
yeah, you don't want an ED, bro.
And then, I mean, I guess to give like a very good technical answer, one thing I would like to do is if you're a male, I would definitely like you to be within like that 15% body fat
Yep.
already. If you're a female, probably within like 23, 24%. and then kind of dieting down from there.
Yeah.
I usually like to kind of take it into like a percentage per week type basis. So if we can lose about a percentage a week,
That's awesome.
freaking awesome. If we do a little bit less than that, great. I still think you're going to be in pretty good shape. But I'd say guys that are within like that 20+% range, or women that are like 30+%, yeah, you're definitely looking at a longer prep, probably like 20+ weeks.
I think also like I think a good approach that I know that I've done with clients is like also just not rushing into a prep, like seeing how well an athlete can adhere to their programming and to the weight loss, and sort of judging the when you're gonna do the show based off of that. So like. Sure, you should absolutely have like a goal date in mind. Like if there's a particular show, like yes, it's a good starting place. But if you're like approaching that deadline and you're not in shape, having like a second option, like a second show,
Like a
that you could
backup.
do, yeah, like a backup,
show or something.
just so that you're like properly conditioned. Because there's so many things that could happen during a prep that can either throw you off or keep you from losing weight, or it could be anything. It could be a multitude of things. And so just not trying to be too vindictive on the specific show that you're going to do, I think is also a good approach, and can be very like can be a really good approach. So
But yeah, I would say that's probably like the biggest thing. So like body fat percentage, look where you're at, but obviously have the habits set in place already. If you're looking to do bodybuilding, like I expect you to understand what macros are. I expect you to have meals already that you follow. I expect you to have some kind of cardio and some kind of training regime already that you have. You know, like you're not just regular person trying to get in shape now. You are physique standard. You're going to look like a freaking statue on stage, right? So that is like the expectation I have of you, right? Heading into a prep, at least. That's when you know you're at least in a good place with the habits that you already have, right? It's just taking that step above, right? Like I think I see too many people that come to me for consultations that want to look like a bodybuilder or want to look like a top level athlete, but
they're not ready. They're not ready to sacrifice
like,
what it takes.
Exactly.
And it's like, I mean, you have to sacrifice time doing cardio. You have to sacrifice like the foods that you love, that you know, again, the highly palatable bullshit food. Like you have to be willing to, and it's not necessarily like it's a massive sacrifice, but it is a sacrifice nonetheless. Can we pause it? Hello. Hi, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
No, we're just filming it in here. I'm sorry. What brings you good? No, you're totally good. What brings you in today?
I'm gonna do like either a daisy or like a week band.
Sure. Yeah. Let's get you set up right here. You want to do a day pass or a week pass?
You know, it's like
So $15. You guys have a cut. The week pass, right?
what if I come on as a layman and ask you guys?
The mod is for you, but you do get a membership, so you have a load up.
Let's do it. Yeah.
It's like,
Are you free?
hey, thank you guys for having me. My name is Christian Diaz. I used to be an athlete after school. Right now in the spring, I'm seeing a lot of my friends going into show, going into prep for the summer. So I wanted to ask you, especially once it's all comes, though it's a little bit, but not enough.
Yeah.
That's all I like.
Perfect. That'd be a good one.
Because a lot of times you guys are talking about, like, you know,
And this one will get you set up card as well. So you
don't feel presentable today, but you know what they say, there's never going to be.
already asterisk information you'll put in.
I think that'd be sick. That'd be good. Well, let's do it.
Well, you'll have some waiver and do some EFR. And you all here? How'd you hear about the gym?
I just saw an ad for my Siri.
Cool. Sweet. What gym do you go to right now?
Right now I just go to the one on days.
Okay. Oh, so you're military?
Yeah.
Navy.
Yes.
We do have a hero discount, so we do a $35 membership for military. So yeah.
And they. Big guy. I feel good. I just told Gons I think you guys should do an episode with me.
Let's do it.
For me to come on as a layman, someone who knows a little bit but not a lot about committing it.
Yeah.
To
Sure, bro.
was it? You guys are I'm assuming you guys are on 38-minute runtime with the cut we did earlier on this one.
Okay.
So I was looking on YouTube, you guys usually go like 45 minutes. So
Just about.
Yeah, I mean, we could just go over some of the questions and then.
I'm not rushing you guys. I blocked out this whole tape.
Not too often.
I just want to make sure it does look consistent when we cut.
Yeah.
So
They are.
This Coach Buck. So first, I don't know who that is. Who's that? Who's Coach Buck?
The new coach. He asked me a couple of questions on my story a couple days ago. I don't know. He follows Kevin. I think he knows Kevin.
Yes, get the passy, baby.
Do you get the green check mark?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me set you up with a key card.
How are you?
You can you actually put it in a bridge? Yeah, thank you.
Gotta be. You have a bomb of it for you. Boy, I store
So as this key card. Okay, cool. So this is for you. So if you can you scan it in right there on that little markup there. It's a guess. I don't. So this is our front desk. Generally, this is open. Right now, it's just because we're recording. But we do have like a front retail area here. We sell like drinks out of the fridge. We have protein bars, energy. It's all self-serve. So if you want to grab anything, you could feel free. We have a price sheet posted up there on that whiteboard. We take Zelle, Venmo, cash, or the card that you put on file. We could also charge. So if you want anything, let me know. We can put it on your cart. But the actual gym is through here. Hey, it's lucky. Sick. How you doing? How much all this cost, bro?
Well, for example, the light. I bought that light and this dome last night, and it cost me $550. But this is my profession. I do videography, so that's cool. I'm not a shopper.
Yeah, you were here for
The anniversary party. Yeah, I try to make it whenever I can. That's cool. Yeah, he is. My name's Chris, by the way, Mo. Yeah, I'm Tyler. Nice to meet you, Tyler, too.
Thank you. Trying.
Yeah, I mean, you're already pretty good deal, like it. Your ass. Tell you, but I saw here those pictures. Well, like, damn, dude. Oh yeah. Okay, tricky. Yeah, you know what I thought? Just let me know. Once I finish up here, I'll probably just. That's how good, yeah. Come up with a day pass after we left, and that you guys report first. Yeah, you guys go. You guys all right? Yeah.
Dude,
Yo, what's up?
it's fucking starving. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is my first meal.
I haven't eaten today. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but my stomach has been grumbling this entire time.
You know, like a protein bar? You can take one. Go ahead. Just take whichever one.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Before I head out today, at the end of the day, can you guys set me up with a key? Sure. Because I think the only times I really can work without eating it.
Yeah. That's a job.
What can I get?
Anything, dude. You can get whichever one.
Yes.
I personally love the Transparent Labs bars. Make the shield.
That's it. Oh, one fire other than better.
That part of your bar still like you'll feel pretty spit on. So from 41 or
If you want, I can try to edit these together a little bit. Do you have the logo, the video file?
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way, I met up with Parker, the other videographer, like you guys and stuff. I met up with a super chill guy, Parker. Yo Mia.
When did we use him? When did he come here?
Over here.
Really? I don't remember how it looks like, actually.
I know, because he's moving to Burning Hills. I told him to check out you guys' gym. He's like, oh, I've already done content for them before. I'm like, what?
Oh, I think he did like a... You remember...
Who? Oh, Yale Media.
Yeah, he's super chill guy, dude.
He's cool. He's cool as fuck.
He's definitely one of those people that I consider a giver.
Yeah.
Like I said, I try to give feedback on whenever I speak.
Ladies. Okay, best supps and foods to aid in digestion. Supps and foods to aid in digestion. I guess, honestly, that is a very...
It's a very nuanced question. I think it depends on like what you're having problems with. Are you constipated? Are you having trouble pooping? Then probably something like fiber, psyllium husk, glutamine. All those things can help. If you're having like diarrhea, that's a different answer, right? Like,
I think honestly, most of the time, like, you just have to look at the food selections that you do have right now. I'm very big on like understanding the nutrition that you have, because even if you're eating clean and there is some kind of dysbiosis happening with your gut, or maybe you're getting some kind of crazy amount of bloat from something, I think usually it can just be due to the sources of maybe protein that you're eating. Sometimes it could be due to the carbohydrate sources. I'm a very habitual eater, so the things that I usually make within my meal prep can stay the same for a long time. And one thing I've noticed is that if I rely on some certain food groups for a very long time, like let's say a couple months, I will start getting that bloat just out of nowhere from like certain meals. And I'm going to have to switch out a certain carb source, or maybe protein source, or maybe even a vegetable.
Yeah.
And so if you're somebody like that you're just habitually eating the same things, and or you have some of those things, you have to learn how to like switch those out. Almost like I guess cycling. You can cycle your food to a degree, right? I know a lot of the times this happens with people that oats. I know people with oatmeal in general, like whether it's rolled oats, quick oats, whatever it is, after a certain amount of time, your gut doesn't process it as well. Like a lot of people start getting that over, or like almost like bloated feeling after having like a cup of oatmeal. It's not just like the fibrous filling that you feel. It can almost feel like almost encumbering, like it almost hurts. And that, to a degree, it's almost like your gut's giving you like a signal like, hey, dude, you're gaining some kind of resistance from this sort of food. And so you might have to cut out the oats, maybe switch to like cream of rice or something like that, right? Super simple. But that might also happen with protein sources too. If you're eating like the same chicken all the time, or fish, or even eggs, right? Like
eggs was a big one for me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. I had an intolerance with eggs. I was eating them for probably like a year after. And I was having diarrhea like every single morning after my breakfast meal, and I was trying to figure out why it was. And it wasn't until I had a conversation with Gazi. He's like, "Well, are you eating the same thing every morning?" Like, yeah, I am. Well, what are you eating? Told him what I was eating. Try cutting things out one at a time. When I cut out the eggs, I finally started, like, my digestion was so much better.
Yeah.
And so I just had built an intolerance to them over a long enough period of time. And then I started incorporating them again slowly, and it was better. So, no, I definitely, I know that from experience. Like, yeah, sometimes you just start building intolerances to foods, and you're not digesting things as well. You just need to sometimes, just switch out food sources. And sometimes it's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that's super underrated, is that a lot of us kind of go into the supplements for everything.
Yeah.
Like we just tend to be like, all right, what's the fix? Like, well, I need to take extra this or more of this or whatever, right? Or what's your gut protocol? But at the end of the day, sometimes it's just a matter of looking at what the foods that you're eating right now. And are you like, is this truly like helping you right now, or are you just kind of going through the motions and just ignoring the fact that the food is making you feel this way, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that's also common too. Like sometimes as bodybuilders, we just tend to eat the same things over and over and over. And then when things go wrong, you're like, all right, what can I add to fix this now? And rather than like, what can I take away? Right. Let's maybe like chill on this and then maybe reintroduce
I
something
think in a
else.
prep scenario though, it does become more important. Like, and like sometimes those are things that maybe you don't have as much wiggle room to like be able to play with, if that makes sense. And so like supplementation sometimes can be in one form or another, like the answer. I think another one too that a lot of people I have found has just helped with my gut health overall, like has helped with digestion and bloating, is like having some form of fermented food in my diet. So I know some people like Greek yogurt. I think that's okay. It's still dairy at the end of the day, but something like a kimchi, like a fermented vegetable, is really good. So I did kimchi for a really long time, and I remember I was digesting very, very well. Like I was doing really good with my gut.
Mhm. Pineapple,
Yeah, pineapple.
kefir.
Ooh, I love
Um,
kefir.
what's the other one? Cottage cheese also has some decent probiotics in it. But yeah, I would say like, yeah, things like kefir, things like kimchi, pineapple. I love programming pineapple in a lot of people's, like especially bodybuilders programming, because we just end up eating a lot more protein than the average person.
It's your
And
gut
so-
insurance.
Yeah, and it'll help actually break down the enzymes in pineapple will help break down those amino acids, that protein, a lot more. So I do think that is something that is just super underrated. Overall, fruit intake and vegetable intake in general, I think a lot of bodybuilders underdo. And so I think we could always do with more. in
It's
order to-
carbs,
Yeah.
I'm scared of carbs, and it's like, nah. I mean, honestly, like replace some of your carbs for some fruit, bro. It's gonna help you digest for sure. Yeah,
Just fiber.
it's
in
gonna help your
general.
gut.
But I mean, yeah, basic supplements, like kind of going over what he said, glutamine, definitely for sure. But I mean, a decent probiotic helps, but I do think that if you're having trouble just going to the bathroom, yeah, psyllium husk,
Yeah,
go to a greens powder. A decent greens powder is also pretty decent. But I'd say in general, those are going to be like your basic
Yeah.
ones. Oh, I really like this one that I've been taking. It's from AD Supps. It's called Good Morning, but that has glutamine in it. That has marshmallow root extract in it. That has cinnamon bark extract. That also does have aloe vera and apple cider vinegar. So it has all the things that you would put in like a regular gut protocol, and it's all in like one scoop. And you can take that continuously every morning. I have no issues with digestion with that, but that it's like an all-in-one thing that you could take. But that's actually it's not bad. It's pretty good actually.
what is it
But
called?
It's called Good Morning.
Good
Good
morning.
Morning by AD Supps.
80 subs.
But yeah, I think it's kind of like the biggest things. How often to switch up your split? Okay, how often should you switch up your training split, and do you need to switch it up?
Depends. Every like 6 to 12 weeks. It can go up to 12 weeks. Every 6 to 12 weeks, kind of just depending on like what you're trying. Like if you are an experienced enough bodybuilder and now you're trying to target specific body parts, maybe a little bit more frequently than if you are like just starting out in the gym and like running like a PPL split. It also depends on how hard you're training and the amount of volume that you're doing. If you're doing a higher volume approach, I think that not necessarily switching up your split, but like I think I'm thinking more of like a deload, like taking a deload more often, like that's important. But like switching up your split, if you're trying to grow and you're trying, like, especially if you're a beginner, I think not that often. I think you could run like a push pull leg SARMs split for the first 1 or even 2 years that you're lifting. And then once you sort of have like a baseline and kind of have better shape, now you actually have like you can see what your structure is like. Then running more like body part specific splits is then appropriate. Yeah, I don't know. What's your take?
I think okay, so I'm just gonna go off of like my experience in general. I think that I started working out in like 2011, 2012. It's 2026 now. So when I first started working out, it was legitimately almost like a full body split. I was basically training everything. I was using every machine in the gym, and I was doing a couple sets of that, and I would just do like literally just circuits of that, like 2 or 3 circuits of that. Then I would try to run on the treadmill for like 2 miles. that got me pretty freaking far. I'd say as I got into high school, when I started training in high school, I started getting more obsessed with the compound movement. So I was benching a lot. And I was also rowing a lot. And I think all those things combined helped me kind of just ultimately build the base that I had. But I'm telling you right now, I mean, even from like the beginning to now, there's still a lot of movements that I personally still do that I've just kept in forever, right? Some of those things are something as simple as like a tricep pushdown, right? Like I think a pushdown in general, like for your triceps, is going to be something essential that you need in order for them to keep growing. A bicep curl, like I don't really overcomplicate it. It's just I like dumbbells, so I use a dumbbell curl. Something as simple as that. I would say in terms of the exercises that you want to switch, look at your progression. If for some reason progression has completely stalled, I'm talking for like weeks or months, or maybe you were just getting bored of it. That's probably a better understanding of when to switch something out, is when you know for a fact enjoyability is just down the gutter.
Yeah.
Like, because now you're not motivated. You're not motivated to even go and like actually work hard for it. So your gains in general are probably just going to be less from that actual movement. So I would say it's just at the end of the day, it's just up to the individual. And I think it's up to just enjoyability, right? Like, are you enjoying the training that you're doing? Does this movement still give you the same like excitement going into it than others, right? I know a lot of you guys probably have muscle groups that you enjoy training more than others, right? And so a lot of the times it just comes down to sometimes like your weakest muscle groups just suck because you just don't like training them. Or maybe you just don't find the excitability for it. So I think during that time you just have to find what works for you. Keep what works. Keep the bases in, and then from there just add on to what it is that you need to do, right? But I would say in general, I mean, yeah, you definitely want to make sure that you keep some of those core exercises in, progress those big core exercises. And at some point, if you do feel like things are running dry, we'll switch them out. But honestly, it depends, right? Because if you're looking at this through the eyes of like a competitor that is like, you're going to go pro, you're serious as hell, you're going to have to grind through the boring stuff. And sometimes like the stuff that's probably not going to get you as excited in the gym, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to have to do that. If, however, let's say, for example, you're looking at this through the eyes of like an average person, or maybe somebody that just wants to just get started with working out, you're most likely going to have to,
Yeah, I got it.
yeah, you got it good.
We are operational in business right now. So there is business activities happening around us as we are on the pod.
But yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing. It's just making sure that you switch it up whenever your enjoyability is down. But at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to what your focus is, right? If you're looking at this through like an IFBB Pro, you want to do like you want to have the best physique possible. You're just going to have to grind through through the shitty parts, honestly. And enjoyability sometimes might not be 10 out of 10, right? You might just have to grind through it. Same exact thing applies if you're an average person and you're just trying to get a decent physique. You can probably get away with just having more commodity, just like changing workouts out just for more enjoyability, and cool. I think you're good.
There's a lot of nuance to it, though. I think
Yeah.
it takes a lot of like being intuitive with your approach and like understanding like, okay, is it actually going to be more effective for me today to like do the enjoyability thing or do the boring thing, right? And if you can do the boring thing, that's going to be a more determining like, I'm going to progress doing the boring thing, then do that. But if you're like, no, today I feel like kind of shit anyway, and you know, I don't even want to be here, my motivation is tanked in the like down the drain, like, okay, then do the enjoyability thing, because it's going to at least have you, you know, push harder through something that like might seem more enjoyable to you, right?
Or just go home. No.
Or just I mean, but it really boils down to that too. Is like if that's gonna be like such a shitty training day that you're going to it's just gonna stunt your recovery even longer. You're not even gonna have a good session. Then yes, absolutely, go take that rest day. Go do some cardio. Go do some abs. Go do some calves. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe hit a neglected muscle group that you don't hit that often. But yeah, I mean that's totally an approach. I think that you do have to, rather than I think the more like accurate question is like, how often should I switch up my movements? And really, like, if you want to maximize growth, like almost never. Like, you're going to want to do the same movements for such a long, like years, right? In terms of like split, that is more adjustable. Like, it kind of doesn't. It's honestly, I think it's kind of like you could grow doing any split, push pull legs arms, the Arnold split, bro split, upper lower, full body every other day. Like, you can grow doing any of those splits. Now, sure, one might be slightly more effective than the other, but like, just stay consistent with your exercise selection is more important than that. So
I also think it depends on whether you're a beginner or whether you're an advanced trainee, right?
For sure.
I think beginners, you're definitely going to get more bang from your buck just sticking with the same things and just doing that until you build a base level of strength of gains in general, right? Maybe for years, you might have to do that for years until you get to like an advanced point. I think as an advanced trainee, you can be a little bit more flexible because you already have the base of strength. That base of strength, that base of muscle isn't going anywhere, really. You're just kind of building off of that. But now you're just at a point where it's so freaking hard to just add in more. And you're already at a level of intensity that is way above where most people are. So I'd say for those maybe more advanced trainees, you could most definitely probably have a little bit more of a switch up within your training, right? To maybe just drive up better stimulus in a different direction, right? So even if that means like, I don't know, doing some myo reps or maybe doing in some kind of rest pause sets or maybe even doing a drop set, right? I think all those things definitely apply. Like once you're in advanced territory, I think at the end of the day, like maybe having more of that is going to be decent. It's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Because you can't just keep driving up load forever. I personally just don't think load in general over like 10 plus years of training, like I just don't, at some point, like you just can't just keep adding just 5 more pounds or 10 more pounds.
Yeah.
As a natural, I mean, even if you're enhanced, like I definitely think you're going to break at some point, unless you're just a freak of nature, right? That you're just able to pummel your joints and be fine. But I think for the most part, you can be a little bit more flexible with your training as you get more advanced, right? But yeah. So let's see. Other question. Best resources for meal prepping.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Resources for meal prepping.
Best resources for meal prepping.
Containers. You need containers. Preferably glass containers. That's not
no microplastics, bro.
No
Fuck,
microplastics.
your balls are gonna shrink, brother. you want your testes intact.
For best test levels, definitely
Glass containers. Although this one has a plastic lid there, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't cook my stuff in the plastic.
No, you take
Yeah.
the plastic off.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay. No, I think bulk stores like Costco or Sam's Club for your big bulk items, like he said earlier, like the rice bags or a big bag of potatoes or even frozen foods. I know they sell bulk frozen foods that can come in clutch when you're in a pinch. I think that's pretty good for meal prepping. Aldi is the goat of meal prep. You can get eggs there and meat there very cheap. One of my favorite red protein sources is the steaks that they sell at Aldi. They sell the top round and prepackaged steaks. And they're affordable and they're not super expensive. And if you cook them right, they're actually really, really good. So,
I don't think I've ever had them.
It's fire. Yeah, it's great.
Sam's Club, Costco, yeah, for sure. Definitely pick up a Sam's Club or Costco card, somewhere where you can buy in bulk, so that it makes it's more cost effective, but you can also just have a good amount of portions you can have throughout the week. I think that is huge.
For meal prep ideas, there's so much on YouTube. If there's a specific meal that you want, if there's a specific food that you're really craving, it's on YouTube somewhere as a meal prep guide. Or some sort of close alternative to it. So there's a lot of information now on YouTube. It'll give you macro breakdowns, calorie breakdowns, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So especially if you're a bodybuilder, that's more important to you. So
one thing I do is I always make sure. I mean, so I don't meal prep. Like I think when most people think of meal prep, they think of like literally like 10 different containers of this in your fridge, right? I personally do not do that.
Yeah.
What I do is I actually make a batch of my protein. So I have like bigger containers that I put in the fridge. This might be like chicken. And I have my other container of like maybe sweet potatoes or rice. And I have another third container and this is all the vegetables. So I kind of have like a vegetable medley that I make. I have my carb source and I have my protein source.
Yeah.
And then what I do is I keep those in those bigger containers in the fridge, and then I just put them in like smaller containers the night before, so that in the morning I can just take them out, put them in my lunch bag, and then just dip.
Yeah.
So
I actually approach it a little bit differently. I'm a very picky eater when it comes to like old food. I won't eat anything that's been longer in the fridge longer than like 2 or 3 days. So like the way that I do it is I make just because I cook every single night. Like I make dinner every single night. That's what I like to do. I take the extra time to do it. So every night I make dinner and I just make extra portions of whatever that dinner is, generally for at least 1 or 2 more days, so that I have lunch for the following 1 or 2 days. Because I cook my breakfast every morning, and since I already make dinner every night, my lunch is the one meal that's the one that I like quote unquote prep, but it's literally just making extra of whatever you have. But it's the same thing. It's like, it's a protein source, it's a carb source, and then generally like either some fruits or some veggies.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I think whichever way you do it, I think at the end of the day, just have something where you can be prepared for the following day or for that week is going to make you more successful with your diet.
Whatever's more time efficient for you. Like everybody's different. Like for me, I can afford that time. So I make dinner every night, but if you only have 1 or 2 nights out of the week to be able to make food, then plan accordingly.
Yeah. Or invest in a meal prep service.
Yes.
Invest if you have the funds, if you're somebody that's super busy. I work with business owners that have their own business that like literally have no time, or at least they think they have no time to like not put aside to cook. Then just invest in a meal prep service. Just get a meal prep service to just deliver you the food, and you'll be way more successful than just leaving it up to chance and or going out to restaurants, bars, whatever, just because you have a business meeting. Like, I would not let it go to chance. Just be prepared and just invest. If you have the money, do that 100%. That'll help out a ton.
I almost find though that like time is always never a good excuse. It always boils down to something else, because there's always, where there is a will, there is a way, and like it applies to this as well.
For sure.
Like you can make progress either if you're trying to gain weight or lose weight through. I mean, there's so many different modalities nowadays. It's so available. You can eat out at fast food restaurants, for goodness sake, and make progress.
Yeah.
Now, is it going to be optimal or cheap, or are you going to be satiated? Probably not, but it's possible. It's doable.
Yeah. Yeah. So just be prepared. Just be prepared. Be prepared, and just make sure to have something on there. Okay. Other question. Best supplements for digestion if I'm having troubles with digesting foods. What are some good workout accessories that you suggest?
Okay, we just went over the digestion piece. I think that what is it? Digestion.
80 subs. Good morning.
Yeah.
Try that in the morning.
Yeah,
that should help. Good workout accessories that you suggest. Accessory movements, I assume you mean?
Good workout accessories that you suggest. I don't know if he means like accessories, like use like different things to use. Like accessories, I guess like it depends like on if you're having troubles with anything. Like if you're having elbow pain, like tennis elbow, then maybe get yourself a pair of elbow sleeves. If you're having trouble with your wrist when you're pressing, then maybe get some wrist sleeves, wrist wraps.
Or take a deload.
Same thing with or take a deload. Or your knees, right? Like but it should never be a complete band-aid for whatever you're doing. Like it really should only apply if it is something that has been like ongoing for a while. If you haven't, like if you've already been doing your mobility work for whatever it is, or getting separate work other than just your workouts for whatever that particular issue is.
Yeah, like the only time I would use those Band-Aids and I would take them super seriously is if you have a timeline. Like let's say you're at the tail end of a prep and you're already like 3 or 4 weeks there, like, and something is feeling off. Well, shit, we're going to have to add that Band-Aid, right? And we're going to have to hold off until this is over.
If you've had like an injury in the past, right? Like an injury, let's say like 5-10 years ago, you had an injury where you fucked up your shoulder or your elbow. Maybe now whenever you press, you just use elbow wraps so that you're just, it's more safe, right? It's a little bit of a way to be just more smart, more safe.
Yeah. But I'd say in general, like wrist wraps, like even like wrist, what are those things called?
Most people don't need belts unless you're powerlifting. You like literally you don't need a belt.
Bursa grips. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Bursa grips, something that's actually gonna help you like not just use like and rely on like your grip strength. That's also pretty decent too. But I'd say for the most part, that's kind of about it. I mean,
if he means accessories, as in like accessory movements,
like wise. Depends.
I mean, shit, bro. Yeah, that's extremely nuanced. It just depends on what you need to bring up. If you're like again in your first couple years of lifting, I mean, you should be doing all of it, a little bit of all of it. If you're more advanced and there's a specific body part that you want to bring up, then just do. I mean, I don't think there's particular movements that are better than others. I mean, I think that it's all the same shit. A curl is a curl, a push down is a push down, press is a fucking press. But at the end of the day, it's what feels best for you, and what you can stay consistent with the longest.
I think he does mean workout accessories, though.
Yeah,
things you can bring.
And I mean, like if there's specific areas that you're trying to bring up, just increase frequency, maybe increase volume a little bit. That's it. Like there's not much else to it. I think
Also having like a good what the fuck is it called? A lacrosse ball, something like where if you have issues with mobility or if you have issues with maybe a tight hip, a tight shoulder blade, having something that can apply some deep tissue magic, which is going to be like some kind of lacrosse ball. Holy shit! Like
if you
that's
can
gonna
afford
save
deep
you.
tissue,
Yeah, deep
go
tissue.
get some deep tissue, especially
sure.
if you've had a tight area for a really long time.
Yeah,
Go get that shit worked. Go to somebody that's gonna beat the fuck out of you. It's worth the money.
yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone to my massage therapist and like she's beat the fuck out of my traps, and I just feel like a brand new person. Like my posture is improved, and it's obviously that's a temporary fix, and you have to continue to do other work to make sure that you can sustain that. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big proponent of actually deep tissue. You actually put me on deep tissue a long time ago.
Deep tissue is amazing. I mean, I get that done like every 2 weeks. It's a need. As you get older, I feel like it's a need, and especially if you're still beating the shit out of yourself in the gym, like you need some good deep tissue work for sure. But hopefully that helps. And then, so very last question is, Alex wants to hear more about the bench off that we're gonna have on May 22nd, and the rules. So whether we're gonna have liftoffs, reps, tempo, etc. So one thing we basically ended up kind of going over was that for the bench off, we're gonna have like 3 referees. So they're all gonna be just kind of looking at whether it's to a degree comp standard, but not really.
Yeah, it's going to be a
touch
mix.
And go.
Yeah, it's going to be a mix between like comp standard and a gym lift. Like we don't want it to be super. I mean, obviously we have no federation here that's like we don't have like we're not with USAPL or anything like that. We want it to be a sort of standalone event.
It's a gym lift.
It's a gym lift, you know. And so it's going to be more of like a touch and go.
We are going to have 1 second there though, so we are going to have to visibly hold it for 1 second. Referees are going to be there, and then you're going to press it off. It is going to be raw.
So there's going to be a command. There's going to be pause, command, press, up.
Yep.
We haven't decided yet whether we're gonna allow heaving or not. Definitely butt stays on the bench. But I mean, if you're a powerlifter, heaving is essentially once it comes down, if you can come any deeper and then press off, that's heaving. So it's almost like using momentum after it's paused to get the weight up. I guess we can decide right now. Do we want to allow heaving? A little bit of a gym lift.
Mind.
All right, cool. So heaving is allowed in that sense. Butt stays on the bench.
Yeah. Like everything else has to be standard, right? Like you can't just like you can't. I'd say the biggest thing we're looking for is just to make sure that you are touching your chest and you're staying there for the second that we decide. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. After that, it's kind of like, okay, from point A to point B.
If you, however you get it up, you get it up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not going to be like super freaking strict, I would say, but I mean, we definitely still have to make sure that you're doing the lift correctly.
Yeah, it has to be a proper bench.
So that'll come down to the referees and obviously us, as we kind of see the lift, right? So yeah, we'll
have refs.
We'll have refs. So it'll be standardized. But yeah, it'll be raw. So no wraps, no belts, no elbow sleeves, nothing.
No
raw.
lifting suit, nothing.
Yeah, no lifting suit.
Raw.
You can bring your powerlifting singlet if you want. You could do it in your powerlifting singlet. Yeah, as far as tempo goes, I mean, yeah, it's just going to be like a second that we're going to actually like just set it down. As far as how fast like you actually want to like drop it, I guess.
That's up to you, but it has to pause. It has to pause. It has to stay still.
Yeah.
So for a second.
So I think that's
so you can drop that shit on yourself. It might hurt, but
So and then obviously the first place prize, we're going to give away $300 too. A year free membership as well, and also I believe supplements as well. So then second place, I believe, is $100, and then third place,
And we have a women's category as well,
Oh,
which
yeah,
has the same prizes. So if you're a girl,
it's all dependent on how many women show up, by the way. Okay,
Yeah.
so it can't just if you're just one woman that shows up, like
you got to be with
doesn't
the
make
boys.
sense. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it doesn't.
Sorry.
Wouldn't make sense. You know what
Sorry.
I mean, so it's all going to be dependent on how many women actually show up. But if there's a good like a crowd of women that decide to come, perfect, awesome. We'll definitely do that. But yeah. So I think that's the biggest things. But it'll be fun, guys. It'll be a dope ass event. Got a DJ coming. We're gonna have some live music. We're gonna have like a photo booth there next to the Unkaged Your Strength wall. You guys can take pictures, tag us. And then we'll also have some food as well. So it'll be a really good time. And if any of you guys want to try out the gym, it'll be a free day where you guys can just come and try out the gym. So
Signing up for the event is only $10.
Yep.
So if you want to,
Competitors,
if you want to compete for the bench off, it's $10. And see who's the strongest presser in Lake County. I think we're the only ones giving out that title right now. So I think it's official. I think it's official. You will be the strongest presser in Lake County.
strongest officially. Only
Officially.
at the cage. Only at the cage gym.
Officially, yeah.
All right. I think I think that's it. That's all the questions that we have.
Sweet.
So that knocks off this episode, guys. Let us know how you guys like this, how the quality comes out. Let us know if you guys want to see more of this. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Like, subscribe. Let us know what else you guys would like to see next.
If there's any guests,
guests.
honestly, that's
as
a big
well.
one.
Yeah.
Like if there's anybody that you want to see us interview or have on the pod, we are based in the Chicagoland area. So anybody that's here, we are happy to reach out to or reach out to us, and we would be happy to interview you or have you on the podcast and shoot the shit, ask questions, all that good stuff. So
Solid. Awesome. Uncage Your Strength, guys. Talk to you guys soon.